Welcome to the 9th Annual May Show at Lakeland Community College. This exhibition features 121 artworks created by 80 artists from the Northeast Ohio, Greater Cleveland, Kirtland, Mentor area. This is the 9th incarnation of the show. It is up through Friday, July 13th, 2018. What I'm going to be doing now, my name is Emerick. I'm the gallery director here at Lakeland. I'm going to give a video walkthrough of the exhibition and come along for the ride. Okay, we're starting the gallery tour of the exhibition with an acrylic on canvas piece by Hap Howley. Next is a triptych created by Judith Brandon. Judith actually received a Juror's Award for this piece called Whispers of Make-Believe. It's mixed media on paper. Next we have Bill Pappas's photograph, Eden's Garden. Next to this is Lisa Vaxnor's Lauer, which is called Glimpse. It's actually a paper, paint, and resin piece. And then this next piece is kind of cool. It's a piece by Steven Simmons. It's fiberglass canvas mixed media called Translucent Wave. And what's cool about this piece is depending on how the light comes through the piece, it changes how it looks. And opening night, the way the light came through and the reflection on the surface, it was just so cool. And it's just something that changes, obviously, as the light passes. And now that it's a month later, the sun is in a different place, so it's going to be reflecting the light a little bit differently. This next painting is by John A. Sargent III, called This Wheel Turns, oil on canvas. John also won a Juror's Award, a $400 cash award. And oh, by the way, this year's juror was Ken Emerick, who is part of the Ohio Arts Council, and he's the director of artist programs and the Ohio Percent for the Arts. And he also, for 34 years, he has assisted in the OAC's Individual Excellence Awards. Now this next piece is kind of crazy. This is a piece by Tom Baldwin. And Tom Baldwin actually won a Juror's Award for his body of work, this being one of the pieces. And this is wood carving and bronze rod. And when you look at this, you're not going to believe that this is actually made out of wood. He's kind of like the trompe l'oeil of the 3D world, because he created the fence by bending the rods, but the birds are wood. That piece that looks like metal is painted to look like that. And even those pieces of dried materials are not dried materials, they're carved from a piece of wood. These next two pieces were created by Paula Zinsmeister. The left one is called Blue Veil, and the right one is called Ochre Veil. We have 3 wood pieces that are turned, and the artist's name is Reinhold Freibertshauser. And the top 2 pieces actually have glass inserts, so you could make them into a vase. And then the other one is actually an urn, and I think it's probably an urn that might be appropriate for someone's final ashes. This is a piece by George Kozman called Approach White Mountain. It's graphite acrylic on wood panel. Next piece is a kind of a diptych by the artist who goes by the name of Felicia. I Just Want to Live. It's mixed media, resin, and collage. This is an acrylic on birch piece by Paula Isadora called Matter, study number 4. And you're going to see Dan in some of this reflection possibly. This is a piece by Gwen Wade, and an assemblage piece called Plain Sailing Weather, and it's found object assemblage or assemblage. Next is another mixed media piece, assemblage piece by Martha Cliffel called Top Boy. This next piece is created by Lee Heinen. It's called The Connoisseurs. It's oil on steel, and here's my wonderful assistant Dan, who's helping me do the videotaping. Next is another piece by Gwen Wade, another assemblage piece called Look at Me. This next piece is another Martha Cliffel piece, another mixed media piece called Out. It's got a little red dot on the label, which means that it's sold. We sure love those red dots, as do the artists. That's my favorite call to make, is to call an artist to let them know that they're either they got in the show and won an award, or we sold their artwork. Next we have a mixed media piece by Steve Wallace called Forked God. This is a bronze sculpture, stainless steel and bronze, by John A. Rinaldi Jr. called Earth Tender. John actually works out of the Studio Foundry in the, I think, the Midtown corridor. This piece is a collaboration piece created by Laura and Gary Dumm, acrylic on canvas, entitled Because We Can. This next ceramic piece was created by artist Jeffrey Allen. It's called Cernunos, and it's ceramic. Here's the first of 2 pieces by Catherine Gribble. This is entitled Untitled number 2. It's acrylic on canvas. Now then we have 2 pieces by James Leslie. The bottom piece is called Whaler's Cove, and the wall piece is called Ribbon Reef Pool. He does most of his work is very organic in nature. Here's another painting by Catherine Gribble entitled Untitled number 1, acrylic on canvas. Then we have 2 pieces by Michael W. High. He won a Juror's Award for his body of work for these 2 pieces, called Feeding Lies to Truths and On Alert, and these are clay with oxides and glaze. There's some interesting details with the bird's nest. You got the piece on the bottom with the bunnies. And to finish off this room is a photograph by Al Fuchs called 4th of July, Lakewood. Here's another piece by Paula Isadora, mixed media on birch, called Symbiosis 12.17.1. This is the first of 2 of George Schroeder's collages. This is called Untitled Atomic Pop. What you're hearing in the background now, this is a concept piece by Charles Mintz. It's called Children of the Night, and it was a photograph taken during the solar eclipse, and what he did is he taped the sound of the birds and just the white noise that was going on and how it changed and altered during the eclipse. And obviously that's what everyone's looking up at, but that guy, some of those people don't have their glasses on, their protective glasses on. Here's the second piece of George Schroeder called Untitled Night Scourge, which is a collage. This is a graphite drawing by Deborah Butler called Calm Before Chaos. Deborah's a Cleveland Institute of Art graduate. And then the second piece is also hers. This is graphite and red pencil called Summer 1998. We have two large-scale ceramic pieces by David A. Thomas. Called Venus of Chance and Venus of Circumstance. Next we have a photograph by Al Fuchs called Friday Night Fights. Al has a studio over an article in the Waterloo Arts District. Here's a large-scale photograph that's printed on mulberry paper by Will Slabaugh called Mountain One, Goin Matsuri. And actually the mulberry paper was created by the Morgan Conservatory, which is in the Midtown corridor. They actually grow the mulberry, create the paper, and they're one of the premier sources for this paper throughout the country and through parts of the world itself. They're pretty renowned for this. This next piece is a sculpture by Lisa Kenyon. It's a bronze piece called Wormhole, and it's actually a kinetic piece. Well, first of all, for me, what's cool is the shadows that were created on the top of this pedestal are amazing, but this is actually supposed to be a kinetic piece where it just kind of moves. We're going to finish off this room by going around this assemblage piece by Sharon S. Wagner, called A Step Back in Time, Earthenware and Found Objects. These are actually, I think they're what, daguerreotypes of some of her family members. And it's called A Step Back in Time, and as you turn around, you'll understand why it's called that, because this kind of looks like a shoe shine box, and there's a ceramic sculptural shoe that she created. There's a mayonnaise jar, there's a brush in there. There's some photos of her family. The next piece is a piece by Christopher Duncan called Waiting. This is acrylic on canvas. This is Kathy Maxwell's piece, We Are Electric, which is acrylic. This is a textile wall piece by Nellie Balakis. Nellie, I sure hope I pronounced your name right. It's called Northern Lights 2. It's got some beautiful white-on-white quilting and some details, which I think will show up on the video. But like anything else, for those of you who are familiar with my gallery tours, it's always the best to come see the work when you possibly can. See it up in person. The gallery is open Monday through Friday, 9 to 9, Saturdays and Sundays from 9 to 5. We're going to be closed 4th of July, but the show is up on display through July 13th, Friday the 13th. So I do encourage you to come stop out and check out the show. This next textile piece is a wool, cotton, and hand-woven weaving by Deborah Silver called Hidden Past. This is Marianne Breisch's mixed media piece called Remembering. Marianne is the director at the Valley Arts Center in Chagrin Falls. This is a second weaving by Deborah Silver called Ray Quartered. We have another assemblage piece by Gwen Waite. This one's called Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. I just love all the cool found objects that she finds. The potato masher, the whisk, the strainer, little spatulas, and some of those things I'm not even quite sure what they're for. This next piece is a ceramic sculpture piece created by Gary Schmidt called Sculptural Pot number 173. And then we have a collection of pieces by Kimberly Chapman. It's called the King Family Series, Sins of the Father, Gilbert Drank Too Much, Joan, Shirley, Bob, and this is porcelain and glaze. Then we have 4 pieces by Karen Maisel, and these are wood, MDF, acrylic, hand-embellished papers. And the pieces are entitled The Recluse, The Mystic, The Martyr, and The Contemplative. And what's nice about these pieces is she considered all the different sides, so the backs of the pieces have the hand-embellished papers, and she uses text in her pieces. Now, a couple more shots of Kimberly Chapman's grouping of pieces. This next piece is an acrylic on canvas painting, Fool's Parade by George Kokar. Now these next portraits, which are super realism, were created by Mark Giangascaro. These are pastel. They're very reflective. I do apologize. Actually, when you kind of stand back from this, and some parts, you get those 2 black frame pieces over the eyes, and it kind of looks like he's got granny glasses on. So, like I said, this is one of 2 pieces. This is Altered Identity. And then the piece with the blue background is called Altered Identity 2, and this piece is what won the Best in Show and a $1,500 cash award. This next textile piece was created by Kathleen Van Meter. It's called Flying Drones in Shades of Green, and I don't know if it's going to show up on the video, but what it looks like she did is she color Xeroxed or digitally printed money on fabric and then appliqued it onto the fiber substructure. This tall triptych was created by Catherine Stokes Schaefer. It's acrylic and pastel, and it's called Rhythm in Motion. This is a gouache work by Pat Ingram called Downtown. And what's cool for me when I design the show is that you see the visual threads between the pieces. So I create a visual storyline. So you see the surface of the triptych on one side, and then you see how the windows, the patterning of the windows. So I take great time and vision to put it together and to create a storyline that makes sense. Every piece, there's a reason why every piece is next to each other. So this is a sculpture by Ken Hetzel called Everyone is Targeted by Something or Someone. These are actually lathe strips, I think he said. They're about 100 years old. And the thing is, because they were so old and brittle, he could only bend and shape them so far, so he created this figure. It has the targets on the front and the back. This is a piece by James March called Splash, which is acrylic on canvas. This is an oil on canvas by Kathy Simone, and the serendipitous moment here is Kathy Simone is the mother of my videographer and my assistant Dan Simone, and it is a portrait of her husband, Dan's dad, whose name is Mark. This is a mixed media piece by Todd Hoke called Untitled. Todd's a Cleveland Institute of Art graduate. As is this gentleman, David Verba. David and I actually graduated together from the Cleveland Institute of Art. These are mixed media on x-rays of cats. The left one is called German Observation Balloon on Western Front from World War I, Cats Quantum Physics. And the next piece is called Woman Holding Letter from visual novel World War I, Cats Quantum Physics. This is an oil on canvas portrait by Tricia Common entitled Sarah. These next two pieces were created by Judy Takis, and Judy received a $400 Jurors Award for the body of work. The left one called Winged Victory in Venus and Given or Taken. They're both oil on canvas, and Judy is also a Cleveland Institute of Art graduate. This is a piece by Greg Martin. This is collodion on aluminum, and it's entitled Helen, in parentheses, Intensity. There's a portrait by Kenneth W. Smith, which is oil, called Sunrise. This is the first of two photographs by Joan Lederer. This is digital photography. This one is entitled Othos. And the one next to it is called In Training. This next sculpture is also by John Rinaldi. You saw his bronze piece a little earlier. And this is called Peace Child, and it's carved wood. And the top two photographs were created by Christopher Casper. Christopher won a $400 cash award, Jurors Award, for his body of work. The left one is called Sunday Afternoon, and the right one is called Laundry on the Porch. And then we finish off this room with a grouping of ceramic sculptural pieces by Carla Gusuelo called Oil Cans on a Rail.
And oh, we're rolling. Sorry.
We start the hallway portion of the gallery with a acrylic on canvas painting by Samuel J. Francasio called Flowering White Oak. Followed by two paintings by David King, which are oil on canvas. The first one is entitled Voyeurs, and the second one is entitled 4th of July. When I put this next wall together, it was kind of fun for me because not only are these two gentlemen fellow Institute of Art graduates, we all know each other, and Dennis Long did the two abstract pieces that are flanking. The first one is called Poolside, or Some Water, Some Sun, Laying in the Grass, Ain't Life Grand, acrylic on wood. In the middle are two pieces by Alan Mintz, What I Left Behind 1 and What I Left Behind 2. Alan and I have been friends since junior high. We went to the same high school, and then we also went to the Cleveland Institute of Art and graduated together. And again, here's another piece by Dennis Long called Unexpected Expectations, acrylic on wood. This is one of two pieces by Christopher Ryan. Christopher Ryan teaches over in Hiram. This is oil on mat board. This is called Loading Dock Backlit. The middle piece is by Gretchen O. Treubner called Abstraction Cleveland, which is oil and ink on board. There's another piece by Christopher Ryan called Perforated Floor, which again is on oil on mat board. This is a ceramic sculpture called Attraction by Michael F. Coles, Sr. This is a piece by A.D. Peters, which is oil paint stick on aluminum, called Monet After Cataract Surgery. And here's another piece by Tom Baldwin, who won a Juror's Award for the body of work. This is all carved wood, and the different patinas and surfaces that he's able to create. This next collection is our 4 pieces oil on board by Jack St. John. From left to right, they're untitled number 13, untitled number 3, untitled number 1, and untitled number 17. This is a oil piece called Blue Cup by Kathy Rogers. This next piece is another piece by A.D. Peters. It's oil on panel on steel, and it's entitled Reflection. Next piece is an enamel piece on copper by Amelia C. Joines called Poetry Neruda. Next is a piece by Mariana Hassan, a monoprint called Creation, Let There Be Light. This next piece by Larry Kasparek, which is film photography, called Creation Eraser. The crazy thing about this is the piece on the right, I actually saw that mound of snow in the middle of a field in the Metro Park behind Baycrafters near Huntington Beach. And the artist was so surprised that I knew exactly where this photograph had been taken. After everything melted, there was this lone piece of snow. This is a wood intaglio relief print by Jan Zorman called House Asunder No. 2. It All Went Awry. Here's another piece by Pat Ingram. This is also gouache, entitled The Alley. This oil on canvas painting by Catherine Spencer is called Moving Forward. Again, I love seeing those red dots. So did the artist. This is an encaustic and oil piece by Tina Elkins called Transition 1. And so there are two little pieces also by Catherine Spencer. The left one is called Attached, the right one is called Dark Winter Night, and these are oil on canvas. This is Laura Diaz Alessandro. This is a photograph, and it's entitled Her Journey. Next, we have a watercolor and mixed media piece by Nancy Lick entitled Ellis Island Sisters. And this is another film photography piece by Larry Kasparek entitled Patriotic Youth. This is a piece by Robbie Groden called Eco Print Meets Nuno Felt. This is a felted piece, but an eco print is where she takes pieces of plant material and growing material, wraps them in the fabric, it immerses them in a special dye bath, and it releases the tannins of the materials, and that's how she gets the organic prints onto the fabric itself, and then she also hand paints them. And so you've got felted pieces and silk chiffon pieces. So you have opaque and transparent. Okay, the next few pieces on the top shelf are jewelry pieces created by Barb Jacobs-Schmidt. The first ring is called Over the Moon. It's sterling silver, moonstone, and sugilite. Second piece is called Shapes, which is sterling silver, onyx, sunstone, and carnelian. And then she's got the third ring called Sapphires and Silver, which is sterling silver and sapphires. And then the necklace is entitled Jasper and Junk, which is sterling silver and jasper. This next piece is by Pamela Pastora called Drain the Swamp. It's sterling silver, citrine, pearl, and a tin clicker. And then actually on the other side you can see some of the sterling silver work that she's been able to create. Next we have these really interesting pieces by Gail Tabor. These are glass beads that she surrounds the form. This first piece is called Dear Me. And you can see that the design goes all the way around to the back. Oops, I'm sorry. Dear Me, this is the wrong title. This is called Jelly Beans. Got them out of order. I'm so sorry. The middle piece is by Diane Tananes, named Treasure Keeper, and it's pot of verre and enamel. Pot of verre is a technique of creating the glass. And here is Dear Me. I'm so sorry for the mix-up. This is by Gail Tabor. And just the designs that she's created around the different shapes and the antlers and the face and the mouth. And then on the bottom shelf is a ceramic sculpture piece by Faranak Arab called Persian Princess. And then we finish out the exhibition with a surrealistic painting by Joe Stavic. It's oil on canvas called The Discovery, and Joe and I went to CIA together. So thank you for joining the tour. Like I said, the show is up through Friday, July 13th. The gallery is open Monday through Friday, 9 to 9, and Saturday and Sunday from 9 to 5. Thanks a lot for coming along for the ride, and if you have any questions, you can always contact me through the gallery. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have. Thanks a lot for joining us, and have a great day.